Oh, hello. Welcome to this New Year's edition of IMO Bastani with me, Aaron Bastani, at Aaron Bastani on Twitter. It's 2016 and we've got 12 months of politics, prognostications and polyester suits. This week I want to talk about two events which will, I think, define British politics for not just this year but the rest of the decade. Today I'll be talking about the London mayoral race that's taking place in early May. And next week I'll be talking about the referendum on EU membership. That will almost certainly take place in October. That's not for sure. We haven't got a definite date, but it's pretty likely it'll be in the autumn. Those two events taken together will define politics all the way up to the next general election in 2020. And it's really important that we begin to identify not just the possibilities, but also the opportunities for radicals and changing Britain for the better. So this week we'll be talking about the London mayoral election. It's taking place on the 5th of May. In the red corner, fighting for Labour, he's definitely a lightweight. We've got Sadiq Khan, son of a bus driver. He was the consigliere in chief to Ed Miliband, a generally underwhelming politician. He is the nominee for the Labour Party. He's currently the favourite, just with the bookmakers. What's interesting about Khan is that he's got where he is. He's got that nomination on the back of support from Corbyn supporters. In the blue corner, we've got Zach Gatsby-Goldsmith, worth between 200 and 300 million pounds, presently the MP for Richmond. He is the descendant of Anglo-Irish aristocracy, an advisor to the Grand Duke of Tuscany. He's the son of a billionaire financier. At the superficial level, at least, it seems there couldn't be a greater distance between these two men, Khan and Goldsmith, with their biographies, one of rags and one of riches, readily corresponding to the growing economic divide Londoners face every day. At first glance, Zach Goldsmith looks like he should be the favourite. After all, there's a Tory incumbent. Boris Johnson's won the last two of these elections. He's good looking, he's got great teeth, great hair, lots of money. He's an identikit politician if there was one in this country. Sadiq Khan's the favourite. He's the favourite for good reason. The Labour Party can muster far greater resources in the capital than the Conservatives can. They've got a much bigger membership, as we know, and that membership's also younger. And while you often hear talk of the Conservative Party being in bed with big business and being run by a cabal of old Etonians, both broadly true, the personal wealth of Zach Goldsmith, an old boy from Britain's most eminent public school, is something unprecedented in British politics. The 5th Earl of Rosebery, often viewed as the wealthiest Prime Minister at the time of his death in 1929, left a probate of 1.6 million. That's around £60 million in today's money. Now contrast that to the personal fortune of Zach Goldsmith. This guy inherited between 200 and 300 million pounds from his father over a decade ago. It may be significantly more than that. We don't know because a lot of it's not even based in the UK, and guess what? He doesn't pay tax on some of it. How can Goldsmith claim to want to represent, be able to represent, even get inside the headspace of most ordinary Londoners? I'm not just talking about the hundreds of thousands, the millions on low pay, in poor housing, subject to the capriciousness of cowboy landlords. I'm talking about the average Londoner who gets on the tube and goes to work, even on a median wage of 26 grand a year. He doesn't know you. Khan's reticence, his hesitancy to talk about Goldsmith's background, his history, who he will represent, which is the 1%, he's from and for the 1%, his reticence to do that is part of a broader story about Khan, and a very weird strategy of triangulation he's sought to adopt since he won the candidacy last September. His first two interviews were with who else? Financial Times and City AM. Very strange for a guy who got to where he was on the back of Corbyn votes, but nonetheless, there you go, that's his choice. That was then compounded in an interview with The Spectator very recently, where he more or less said exactly the same thing. That wasn't a momentary triangulation to his right. This is Khan's message. He is going to flank Goldsmith to his right. He's going to be more business friendly, more friendly to corporate interests than a Conservative candidate who's worth 300 million. Unbelievable. That Spectator interview was absolutely astonishing, and I'm going to quote now where Khan spoke, and I quote of how he wants Spectator readers to give me a second look. I was keen to ladle praise on Boris Johnson. Again, I'm quoting Khan, a great salesman for our city, who made him feel proud to be a Londoner during the Olympics. He even likes rich people, and here's Khan again, quote, I welcome the fact that we have got 140 plus billionaires in London. That's a good thing. Billionaires. I welcome the fact that there are more than 400,000 millionaires. That's a good thing. Going back now to James Forsyth, quote, if you shut your eyes, it could be Peter Mandelson speaking. Now, if you want to model yourself on anybody in British politics from the last 2 or 3 decades, Sadiq, I would recommend somebody who didn't have to resign twice because he was stupid and is a compulsive liar, but that's up to you again. Well, first of all, Londoners aren't voting for a salesman. They want a political representative, and look, that's what democracy is all about, right? Who's going to listen to their grievances, who's going to do something about them, who's going to affect change around the issues that affect their lives and their life chances. And those are numerous, right? Low pay, expensive public services, a police force which is unaccountable and almost always racist actually in dealing with people of colour, cowboy landlords, the list goes on. They don't want a salesman, that's absurd. They want somebody who listens to their problems, deals with them and makes their lives better. Or have you forgotten what politics is meant to be about, Sadiq? And if they were going to vote for a salesman or a business person, they'd vote for somebody cool like Whaley Dye or Elon Musk or Dr. Dre. They'd vote for somebody interesting and cool, and actually somebody who's been in business and actually sold things and made things, neither of which you've done, nor has Boris Johnson done, nor has Zach Goldsmith. As a politician, I think Khan is ill-fitted to the generational problems which are facing Londoners, which is facing this city right now. He's meek, mediocre, mundane. He's insipid, he's charmless, he's talentless. You know I don't hold my tongue about these things. Most of all, I don't think he actually seems to care. But all of that said, Khan now matters. He's of great consequence. Not just for himself, not just for his career, not just for Labour, but for Labour under Corbyn. Why does he matter? Because this election matters. London in May will offer a microcosm, a foretaste of the main event in 4 years' time, the 2020 general election. In May, as then, we'll see the same social forces arraigned against one another, and we'll know more or less just how far Corbynism and its tools can go. So in May, we'll see boots on the ground and mass membership, lots of people, bits of paper through letterboxes. On the other, we'll see a very negative, a very critical print press. In the case of London in May, it'll be Evening Standard. In the case of the general election in 4 years' time, it'll be pretty much everybody, right? That'll be in combination with the rest of the mainstream media and lots of money, lots of favour with big business in the city. So you've got on the one hand people, a social movement, mass membership, on the other, money and media. If Corbyn, through Khan, wins by 5 to 10% in May, all of a sudden, all those critics who've written off Corbyn and Labour ahead of 2020 would have to reconsider their opinions. Because guess what? People and irritating little bits of paper through the letterbox might just matter more than Rupert Murdoch, media moguls, money and privilege. Well, let's hope so. But first of all, Sadiq, you need to change your tune, because if you don't, I don't think those people are going to come out for you in the first place, old son. So what do you think? You know what I think? Why don't you put those thoughts down on the hashtag #IamObastani. What's more, why don't you reach out to Sadiq Khan, at London Labour, and say, Sadiq, why won't you be interviewed by Aaron Bastani? He's saying these terrible, merciless things about you. You're talentless, you're mundane, you're insipid, you're charmless, that you don't care. Sadiq, why don't you come on? As Craig David once so eloquently put it, all you got to do is just call me. Call me. Bye.